Instead of carelessly throwing these items in a waste bin, American University students will think twice and use the many recycling bins throughout the campus. This weekend, Think Like a Man gave The Hunger Games a run for its money in the box office. The movie is based on Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And the movie stars Oscar nominee Taraji P. Henson, Michael Ealy, Gabrielle Union, and more. Produced with only $13 million, it quickly made that back on its opening night. In the opening weekend, the movie brought in about $33 million. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments today in another case of national importance, immigration. The court is taking up the controversial Arizona State Bill 1070, which requires police to check the immigration status of anyone they have reasonable suspicion may be undocumented. This will determine how far states like Arizona may restrict undocumented immigrants. The Obama administration says Arizona SB 1070 should be struck down because it interferes with federal law. But the state of Arizona says that law supports current federal law. A decision is expected from the court later this June. Many people have come out to pay respects to the civil rights activists whose goal was for equality for all. But was Limbaugh's verbal attack directed to Fluke personally, or was it an example of the opposition growing by the Republican Party? Mel Gibson is back in the news for his anti-Semitic statements that he made in 2006. A Hollywood screenwriter accused Gibson of making the same offensive statements in a recent meeting between the two. Gibson said that the accusations were utter fabrications. Gibson apologized for his comments after his 2006 arrest. Millions of parents and children around the country are celebrating Take Your Child to Work Day this week. But at the White House, the event had the First Lady talking about the Secret Service. A child asked the First Lady what she would change about her job, and she said she'd like to be able to leave the White House incognito. But she said it would cause some worry for the Secret Service and thanked them for their hard work in protecting the First Family. This comes amidst the ongoing scandal over prostitution involving the Secret Service abroad. This has been a District Wire News Update. I'm Brittney Hood. The competition will end in 8 weeks. American University is in a race against 600 colleges and universities to become the greenest campus. The kickoff starts right here on the Quad. I am Brittney Hood, American University.
Done made my vow to the Lord, and I never.
Today marks the 44th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In his remembrance, the District of Columbia Martin Luther King Jr. National Memorial Project Foundation is hosting a day-long vigil. The vigil is being held at its newly built memorial on the National Mall. Many people have come out to pay respects to the civil rights activists whose goal was for equality for all.
I really believe that his vision for a global society where people were indifferent to physical attributes but consumed by character is the direction that we should go, and we would have less wars and a whole lot more peace.
At sunset, the candlelight visual began. Community leaders like Michael Eric Dyson, Lee Saunders, and Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton came out to speak at the brief ceremony to celebrate the life of Dr. King and his work. Former U.S. Secretary of Labor Alexis Herman reminded everyone that MLK's dream has not yet been fulfilled and that we are to keep hope alive.
We are taught where there's perseverance, there's character. And where there is character, there is hope. Martin King believed in a God of hope because he understood that hope does not disappoint. So let us commit ourselves this evening to saying yet again that we will not disappoint the dream or the dreamer.
After the ceremony, a wreath was laid at the foot of the Stone of Hope. Reporting for American University, Brittney Hood, Washington.
Bow to the Lord, and I never will turn back.
Some Anacostia residents say that in the 1960s and 1970s, drugs and criminal violence damaged Anacostia. But there is beauty in Anacostia. Today, middle-class Americans aren't afraid of rebuilding the city and giving back to the community. Me, Juanita Busy Bee Brittney, owner of the Anacostia Art Gallery and Boutique.
When I was very interested in becoming a homeowner, Southeast was the very first place that I came. So I came and made my first purchase in this community, and it was natural to want to operate my business in this community.
Over the years, Juanita has collected pieces from all over the world. Juanita is an avid collector of African and African American art, and in the beginning was a lot of her personal pieces.
Busy Bee takes her time when selecting artwork for her gallery and doesn't mind going out to get good art, even if it means going overseas.
I have artwork in the gallery from over 42 countries, but most of the artwork in this gallery is from African Americans in this country.
What is special about the Anacostia Art Gallery and Boutique is that it is walking distance from the Smithsonian Museum.
When the Smithsonian Museum opened its doors, they opted to not have a gift shop, and as a result of not having a gift shop, Juanita Brittney decided to turn what was her house into an art gallery. They oftentimes extend the invitation for people who are coming to visit their museum to come to the art gallery. We are community cultural attachés.
The Anacostia Art Gallery and Boutique is how Ms. Brittney gives back to her community. She will continue to open her home to everyone and teach the culture of Black art.
I love the work that African Americans produce. A lot of it looks like me, and it doesn't necessarily look like an African woman in Africa. It reflects how African Americans look. So I like representing art that looks like us.
Busy Bee has opened her home to the community for 5 years and says she has had tremendous growth in sales. Each year, Busy Bee has seen a 15% increase in sales, which is roughly an 80% increase since her opening in 2006. I am Brittney Hood, reporting for the American Observer. American University is teaming up with the National Eating Disorder Association to bring awareness to students and staff. Today, the association and Wellness Center are passing out information on the effects of eating disorders. The kickoff began with the annual Needle Walk yesterday, which raised over $32,000. Health educator Alan Duffy has been in charge of the Body Image Awareness Week for 4 years.
Things that I do here in the Wellness Center is help to work with students to find appropriate treatment resources. So there are some resources that the Counseling Center and the Student Health Center can provide them, but often if they've got a complicated eating disorder, they're going to need to go off campus.
Duffy says over the years he has seen more and more students involved with the prevention of eating disorders. Duffy also says there are more people coming out to tabling events to get information for not only themselves, but for friends and family as well. A candlelit visual will be held on Thursday in honor of those who lost their battle to an eating disorder. I am Brittney Hood, District Wire News. Rush Limbaugh is in hot water again over his statements about Georgetown law student Sandra Fluke. Celebrity attorney Gloria Allred wants Limbaugh arrested and prosecuted. Limbaugh broadcasts his program from Florida, and a law there makes it a crime to say false statements about a woman's sexual conduct. In a letter to the Attorney General, Allred wrote, Mr. Limbaugh has acknowledged that his reference to Ms. Fluke as a slut and prostitute were baseless and false. The Florida statute directly applies to the conduct Mr. Limbaugh admits to engaging in. But at least one expert says Fluke may have her own civil case against Limbaugh for defamation.
She's a student at a Jesuit university. There was harm. There was a perfect opportunity to say, you know what, that was wrong, that was misogynist, but many people sort of embraced it. So for many people, she is in fact a slut. She is in fact a whoremonger. She is in fact a woman who would throw her legs over because those like-minded people. Now I would imagine that some of those types of people attend Georgetown University, that they would look at her in an unfavorable light because there's a segment of the population that buys into that. And if they didn't buy into it, it wouldn't be said.
D.C. resident Regina Lewis says that birth control protects innocent children from being born into poverty or into families that cannot provide for them.
What Rush Limbaugh said was unacceptable. To have her stand up for birth control and the use of it and protecting the rights of it by saying something like that it's ridiculous. As a man, he can't understand the impact that birth control can have, and as a woman, it's protecting the lives of a lot of people, including myself.
45 sponsors have canceled their support for the Limbaugh Show. So far, the Attorney General's office has made no statement and taken no action in response to Albert's plea. For District Docket, this is Brittney Hood. According to a new CNN exit poll, 51% of evangelical Christians voted for Santorum in last Tuesday's primaries. The poll, released February 29th, also shows that people who believe a candidate's religious beliefs matter chose Santorum over Romney by 63% to 21%. American University student Dion Jones says that a presidential nominee is elected into office because of their values and not only for the issues they stand by.
I feel in any type of role where you are president of the United States, especially when you're making decisions like that, for me, there has to be some cling to a faith to help you make hard decisions.
Santorum has spoken out about contraception and religious freedom. In his speech last week, he said the state has no business telling the church what to do. American University professor John Watson says using religion for political gain is ethical, although it does have its downfalls.
As a matter of practicality, as a matter of pragmatics, appealing to the religious interests is generally a good thing. However, there are some people who are very committed to keeping religion out of politics. And for some people, the fact that someone is waving a religious flag takes them off the possible list of candidates.
According to another poll done by the Quinnipiac University, Santorum leads Romney with white evangelicals 45% to 19%. The Quinnipiac poll was taken February 23rd through the 26th. Brittney Hood for District Wire News.